What's up guys, it's Wanza Wonders here today. And today I'm going to be talking about which maps and game types I think should be in the MLG Pro Circuit for Call of Duty Advanced Warfare for this upcoming season. So first up we got Biolabs. Now I've played Biolabs a few times. I definitely shouldn't. So first up we got Biolabs. Now Biolabs is supposed to be there for S&D and for Hardpoint, and I think Uplink as well. And I'm just thinking that this is not a very symmetrical map. There's not a lot of ways to push together or different lanes to work together in. It just seems like there's a lot of places where it can just be, considered luck and chaos. And I don't think it's as consistent of a map. And there's also a lot of places where it's too easy to spawn trap a team. And once teams get really a handle of that, it's just going to be like whoever gets the spawn trap first. So I'm not really down for that kind of gameplay. Also the S&D, there's not a lot of lanes that you can just hold down or set up together. You kind of have to just corner camp inside the building or play way outside of it. And I just don't think that it gives enough competition for this kind of map. It's just not a good MLG game type or map. So another map that we've got is Defender. Now Defender is just probably too large of a map, and it also has that tsunami coming in. Anytime that a map uses some outside elements inside the map, I don't think it's going to be considered as competitive, because you have that luck factor that all of a sudden you're running the flag down on the right side by the shoreline and the tsunami hits you. I don't think that should ever be affected. Or you get slowed down by the water. You should never be slowed down by just some water. You're like, oh, we almost won Columbus, but the water was there at that time and I didn't get it capped in. That, and it's too big of a map, because you can't really, pros won't be able to be as consistent in their gameplay, because there's too many ways that they have to watch. And anytime you have too many ways that you have to watch, there's not enough strategy that's involved in that map. So another map is Recovery. So Recovery is a map where it actually in the middle of the game, it will cut the map in half and it'll kill everyone outside of it if you don't get in the doors in time. Again, anytime that a map has some changing elements like that, also it's probably too large of a map. I'm just not a fan of that. Maybe in S&D it doesn't do that as much, but again, it's such a big map. There's too many ways to watch, and the bombs are either down low or out in the open somewhere. Not enough cover for you to get the bomb planted. Also Terrace. Terrace maybe could be a good map. I'm not really positive on this for S&D. I haven't played it too much on S&D. Maybe it could be good. But the uplink gameplay that I've seen is a lot of people just spawning on either side, and then the ball is spawned at the lowest part of the map near the pool, or bottom of the pool, and everyone is just kind of rushing to that place, getting kills on kills and kills, and it's usually the most aggressive team that grabs the ball and keeps running it and running it and running it. They're the ones with the chance to actually win, and it's only the team that makes the mistake of sending two to patio side and not consistently trying to kill that ball guy. They're the ones that usually lose. It's just that little mistake of not being aggressive on the ball, aggressive on the ball. Maybe there's some plays that could be made with passes and stuff, but again, they spawn so fast on their spawn that literally it's just constantly they're gonna kill them. Maybe if they introduce the 5-second rule for uplink of being killed, it would kind of slow down the game and people would get a little bit more strategic about oh, we can't die constantly, stay alive. I think that might be good, but I also think that uplink is a really good game type if it is kind of played fast-paced. There's a lot of times where you spawn and you're just not close enough spawned to be able to get that guy with the ball, and also he has some extra health, so you can't get enough shots on him right away. So I think a 2.5-second spawn for uplink would actually be a good idea. For CTF, obviously, I think it needs to be 5 seconds, because you need to get those man advantages, and you don't. It's not the same as uplink. Uplink needs to be a little bit more fast-paced than CTF. Also another map is Green Band. Now Green Band, I've seen Optic playing it on Optic Plays AW. And when it was hardpoint, I think this is why they don't have it in GB variant right now. It's such an open map, and you can get up high so easily that literally nobody can just stay in the hard point long enough. So again, it's the most aggressive team that keeps pushing the hard point that's going to win that. Now with S&D, I feel the same way with this. It's like, how do you get the bomb down once they have all the vantage points, kind of taken over? It's like, again, it's just going to be a lot of rushing or like a lot of like full flanks and stuff. There's not enough strategy that can be involved so that you guys can stay in cover. That was one good thing about Ghosts, is there was a lot of times where you could make your gunfights these single gunfights and you could stay alive from everything else. In Green Band, I don't think that's really a possibility, especially once everyone has the communication down and you can bait and switch, or you can full flank, like I was saying. So the 6 maps that I think should be in the MLG Pro circuit are Ascend, Retreat, Comeback, maybe Terrace, Detroit, and Riot. I think those are the most consistent maps that you can really get your strategy down and your games down, so that it's a consistent game and that you're consistently winning, and it's not just some random team that just comes in there and does something crazy. So the game types that I think should be on those certain maps are Ascend. I think CTF it has been proven to be a really fun game type and very consistent. Also the S&D can also be proven pretty consistent. It gets hard because we don't really know what we're doing. We just kind of push something and hope that it works. But I think as the game evolves, people will start, creating those like plays that they make, and you start to counter it and all that jazz. And there's also a lot of ways to be able to flank and make new plays and counter a lot of stuff in that. So it has a lot of room for improvement. But I do not think that the hard point should be in that game type. Again, I don't really like where the hard point spawns. I think it's going to be a lot of clustering, just like, jumping in, you won't be able to be held. Not really sure about the spawns. I feel like you spawn really far away, and it takes too long to try and either wrap around to the other spawn or to take it from a different angle. It just, it's too easy to hold down, and you know exactly where they are. That's just my opinion on Ascend Hardpoint. Just think it's not the right map for that kind of game type. So Retreat has been proven to be a great S&D and hardpoint map. S&D, you've got a lot of advantage points. You've got places you can hide. It's pretty big, but it's also pretty symmetrical as well. But there's a lot of rooms you can go in and juke out players. Also in hardpoint, I think the spawns are pretty consistent if you understand them, and you can rotate pretty well if you know exactly where the hardpoint's going. So I think it's been a pretty consistent game time, and the teams that seem to set up and communicate exactly where the other players are or where they're coming from the spawns seem to win, and then the teams that decide to flank the spawns also seem to be more consistent and win as well. We've been getting better at that game type, and I think the first time we played it, we got destroyed, but we've been slowly working on it just in these past couple of days, and we've already become like pretty good at that map. So I'm excited to see that map in it. So Riot, although it seems like it is a huge map, it actually is pretty consistent in how you can control the map and control the spawns without spawn killing too much. But it's got a lot of good high advantages and low advantages, and a lot of cover that you can take. It reminds me of like a paintball map because there's so many cars on the map that you could just get covered behind. So I really like this map, and I'm excited to see it in S&D, in Hardpoint, and CTF. I have not tried it out on yet. I think it might be a good run for it, just because of how I've played Uplink, and you can really run down those lanes or run up the middle. It's got that sort of 3-lane thing. I think that needs to be a consistent in all competitive maps, is you always have 3 lanes that you can run in. But not always having 3 levels on each one, so the middle only has 2 levels, but it's covered inside, and then the other sides, it's got 3 levels on each side that you can go down, but it's more open. So I think that's a really good map, and I think they really thought that out really well. So another map so I've already mentioned Terrace. Terrace can be a good game type for S&D and for Uplink. I need to play it a little bit more to know if it's like really a good game type for that map, or S&D is a good game type for that map. But this is one of my maps that's kind of on the fence. You could throw it out, you could put it in. I wouldn't be opposed to either, really. But another map is Detroit. Now, Detroit has been proven to be like my favorite map. For CTF, it's consistent. You can go either way. You can go the long way around school, or you can go the short way around green and hotel side and hospital side, which is just as covered as the other side. But either way, it seems like there can be a lot of strategy implemented into this map and controlling the spawns to get that CTF. Also, S&D, you can see both bombs. I kind of like that. Now, it's not so much like you on Octane, you'd have to be like, all right, guess this bomb or guess that bomb. It's like, no, you can kind of see both bombs. So you really have to be like sure when you're going to plan it. You have to have like the right cover for that. And I haven't tried it on Uplink, but Hardpoint has been really great. I mean, the spawns are really consistent. You can really control them to your advantage, or, you know, wrap around and get them again, or just, you know, force that hill constantly to just try and contest it as much as possible. And I'm actually thinking that this is going to be one of the major maps that is played the most on the most game types, for sure. The last map that doesn't get enough credit, and I'm kind of unsure why it's not in more game types. I don't know why they thought just Uplink would be good, but it's Comeback. Now, Comeback is like one of my favorite Uplink maps, because it spawns right in Red Alley, and you have to like force that Red Alley and force them out of that spawn on the red side, both teams. And if you force them out of that spawn, they're going to spawn opposite of you, and then you can really start to push and get advantage of their base. Or you can send flankers around to try and force them again, but then they're going to spawn closer to the ball. So it does take a lot of strategy. I really like the Uplink map on that. I would have liked to try it on CTF. I think it would be a high-scoring map for CTF. But I'd also like to try it for S&D, because S&D, I could see, you know, you plant it in sort of that green room or in that green alley. Like, that could be a good plant spot. It could also be in red. You know, those could be the two places, so then you have players rushing both sides. But, again, I can see why it's not an S&D map, because it's so open when you have to rush to those places that it'd just be a lot of kills up front. Maybe teams would, you know, back off and, you know, camp for a little bit. But I'd like to try it out. I'd like to try the S&D app. So I hope you guys enjoyed which game types I think should be in MLG Pro Circuit. Please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel down below. And I just hope that you guys really enjoy this season. Let's keep pushing it, and just let's keep figuring it out and see what works and what doesn't work. So be a wonder kind. Peace.
And I wonder if you know what it means,